in Letters from Pegasus, the Wraith fire a beam at the planet, and I was like, a beam?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like the
Hmm.
calling
Hmm.
beams? And they said
That,
it's never referenced again. Whatever this
yes.
is, they're like sucking life out of the planet or
Yeah.
something. And I went back and I'm like, sure enough, it's a huge component of that episode. This shot of this energy beam, and we never
That
look
is
at
a
it
question.
again.
I'll be honest with you. That is a question that gets answered, that gets asked once every couple of months. Whenever I'm
Seriously.
online. Yes, yes, absolutely. And I'll head off that question by saying, answering the same way I do. Who wrote that episode? Was it?
I think it was Binder.
Yeah, that is a question for Carl Binder. You can find him. He is on Twitter, CP Binder, or at CP Binder, and I'm sure he would be delighted to
Yeah.
field your Stargate related queries.
I would have to. That's fair, folks. Yeah, check that out. When we go through the Q&A, I'll give a shout out to the person who asked that particular question. But I mean, I think that they're extracting life from the planet, you know, and that would be to feed the hive ship, you know, because the hive ships are organic and the cruisers are organic.
Yeah.
What do they eat?
Yeah.
You know, did the Wraith, in your opinion, did the Wraith like share some of their life energy with their ships? Were they that conjoined? You know.
Yeah. No, and in my opinion, they suck the life out of the planet.
Okay. Yeah, it makes
Exactly.
sense.
I will confirm your hypothesis, but there's no way to know for sure,
Right.
until we speak to the man,
The man
Carl Binder.
himself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Before we get into the meat of Atlantis, talking season 1, Trigger wants to know, what are your thoughts on the future of Stargate and how things can be affected by the Amazon purchase of MGM?
I believe that with the Amazon purchase, it will accelerate potential new Stargate. What form that will take remains to be seen, because I think in the end, the executives at MGM realized, I think the value of the existing fan base, the value of the existing franchise. And so they reached out to Brad, and he's been at work on developing the series. And it's something I've kept saying. If the executives are smart, they will greenlight a show that offers the best of both worlds, a perfect jumping on point for new fans, what at the same time set in the canonical universe that was created, and hopefully created or created by Brad Wright. And if they don't, I think the fans will be very, very angry, and they'll let their anger be known online. But hopefully it won't come to that.
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic. I really, part of me thinks it could go 50-50. They may look at us and go, you know what, we've got to start fresh. But I keep looking at shows like The Expanse and the care that they're putting into trying to reach out to the Lord of the Rings community. And I have hope.
As do I. I mean, basically, I'm just kind of fielding best and worst case scenarios.
Right.
In either case, I think Stargate is coming back.
Yep. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll get that ring, one way or another. It's just
Right.
what form will it take and the participants that are going through it. So, Louisville guy wanted to know, Joe, what was the process for creating SGA? Was it mainly Brad and Rob, or did they meet with the larger group of writers to brainstorm some general ideas for the new concept?
Absolutely not. No, it was all Brad and Rob. They developed it, they pitched it, and then and they wrote the 1, 2, 1 and 2, Rising 1 and 2, and at that point, the rest of the writers were kind of brought on board, and we helped kind of develop the series after that. But the show was fully developed and created by Brad and Robert.
What do you think of Rising?
I like Rising. I mean, to be honest with you, I look back on it and I think it still holds up. That majestic sequence of Atlantis rising up out of the water always kind of gives me goosebumps.
Rainmaker outdid themselves.
Yeah,
the work was just extraordinary. Bruce Washington and his team. It's like, man.
Yeah.
Just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So Rising and the characters and all of that were fully formed by Brad and Rob, and then you guys got to come into that sandbox in the season and start playing with the toys.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't as easy as that. I mean, I think back to the casting, and the casting was particularly challenging. I'm not sure what you heard, but for instance, there was a doctor, I think Dr. Benjamin was
Benjamin Ingram.
Ingram, yeah, Dr. Ingram, okay, was a character created for the role. And we held auditions and no one really popped. And as kind of time went on, we were getting closer and closer to production. We realized we didn't have a Dr. Ingram, and at which point Rob suggested, why don't we bring someone on from SG1, an established character? And he suggested Rodney McKay. And first we were like, I guess so.
He's villainous almost.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
And so it was actually really interesting in that it was kind of an 11th hour decision. And, what could have been if we would cast that Dr. Benjamin character, we never would have developed the Rodney McKay character beyond SG1.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Rodney could have ended up on Universe for crying out loud. Who knows? But I mean, I cannot imagine Atlantis without the energy of David Hewlett and Rodney McKay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
They are synonymous.
I agree.
The man, I think, shouldered at least 50% of all the dialogue. If you add up word for word. Yeah. Jeez. Redux wanted to know, when you're looking at Rising and your interpretation of the return of that character from Frozen, Ayana, what do you think the story is there? Was there some kind of breakup to move to another galaxy? Her husband in real life is giving her quite the stink eye because those two were actually married. I think it had something to do with the plague, but there's no way to know for sure.
Yes, no, it definitely had something to do with the plague. But again, this is one of those elements that I referred to earlier that for me is kind of lost to time. Now, again, Brad and Robert wrote the episode, and I'm sure in their mind they still fully remember the game plan and all the pieces that they put together to tell that particular story. So I will have to beg off that question.
All right. Thank you for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving us a thumbs up with that like button. It will encourage the algorithm to show this to other Stargate fans. Also, please consider sending this to a fellow Stargate friend. I also want to invite you to subscribe to future episodes right here on YouTube. We are a live show, so changes are likely to happen all the time. And if you plan on joining us live, you'll want to be the first to know. Be sure to visit dialthegate.com for the complete guest schedule so you'll know when to join us and ask your very own questions to our guests. See you on the other side.